Hello and welcome to the program. Normally, of course, we would have our panel in the studio today, but prevailing circumstances have moved the show over to Zoom. Hopefully, we won't have any difficulties with the platform as we progress today. I am, of course, joined by my co-host, Edward Dodds. Ed, how are you doing today?
Good, thanks, Matthew.
Yeah, good to see you. How's lockdown treating you?
Yes, not bad. But of course, as restrictions are easing, the weather gets cold. It's about right.
Yeah, of course. So today's discussion will focus heavily on some of the impacts of these COVID-19 lockdowns, a topic that's difficult for us to avoid these days. Our hardworking reporters have been making the best of the lockdown era and trying to find out how Australians are coping with isolation. We begin with a series of stories on getting outdoors. Many of us have found ourselves with a little free time on our hands, and getting outside, while respecting social distancing, of course, could have a number of benefits. Ed, have you noticed any of this around you?
Yes, it's been quite strange. People that have never gone for runs before are going outside and running around the neighbourhood. And elderly are just getting out more and more, which is quite a shock in this pandemic. But, you only die once.
Yeah. Well, we've actually got a panelist who's known for being a bit out and about, and that's Xanthi Gregory. Xanthi, what do you think about all this? Xanthi, you're on mute. Xanthi. Okay, yeah, she can't work it out. Let's run the segment.
Stressed, unmotivated, lack of concentration. Any student, employee, in fact, everyone has probably felt these things before. And recently, with an influx of people working from home, it seems these things are at an all-time high. It seems the key is to get outdoors. A recent study from Wall Street Journal says that a simple walk can actually increase productivity. Other studies say that getting outside can increase our positivity, can help us retain information and increase blood flow to the brain. This isn't just about getting some fresh air, but actually taking time out of our studies and spending some time in nature can increase our memory and our creativity. So let's see what some students have to say about this.
I have found that the ability to go outside is really beneficial, just being able to move around, get some fresh air, just do something different from being stuck inside. Lately, with the Easter restrictions, that's been a huge positive for me, especially now that I'm able to socialise a bit more, catch up with friends, and now I can even start training, which is awesome.
But when I do need a break and I come outside, it's usually because my dog's here and I love her so much and we play together and she makes me happy.
Being able to go outdoors benefits my learning as I'm able to clear my head and get some exercise in before going on and continuing with my work. It also makes myself more productive and gives myself time to process the work that I have done and also process what needs to be done so that I can keep on top of all my university work.
That story was from Sophie Galante. Our next piece drives further into this theme as Zoe Brown reports on both getting active and on community morale in our local area. Our panellist, Darcy Watt, has more on this. Darcy? All right, okay. Darcy seems to be indisposed at this time. All right, Matthew, what are your thoughts on these community projects that are starting to pop up and getting people through this tough time?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different sort of projects coming up, sort of innovative stuff, I think, that are like keeping people entertained. I remember seeing this Facebook group about people taking out their bins in weird costumes. And Zoe goes into it more in the story, which we're about to see. But yeah, it's sort of innovative stuff and stuff that you wouldn't really think of that are just fun things keeping people entertained. So yeah, without further ado, let's go to Zoe and that story.
The streets of Pitttown have been more alive than ever over the past month, with residents attempting to reclaim an aspect of normality in their life as the nation fights to overcome COVID-19. Stepping outside, you are bound to find people walking their dog, children on push bikes, or families on an afternoon stroll. Whether maintaining a manicured garden or curing one's boredom by going for a walk, people appear to be appreciating life outdoors more than ever.
Normally I'd really love to go shopping and lunches and coffees and drinks with girlfriends. I do like walking. However, now walking is a priority because you can't go to the shops, you can't catch up for coffees, you can't do drinks, you can't go to the gym, so walking is it, and I'm loving it.
The residents of Pitttown have noted that in such uncertain times it can be difficult to keep children active and entertained. Households throughout the community have started placing teddy bears in their front windows, providing a bear hunt for the kids to keep them entertained and eager to go outside. It is more important than ever for people to get outside, be active, and stay social. From a responsible distance, of course.
Next up, we have a story from Joe Casalo, who talks about his passion for skateboarding as a way to get active. We've recently seen a number of public areas, including skate parks, start opening up, giving people more options when getting outdoors. Our panellist Dylan said he wanted to speak on this subject. Fingers crossed that's true, Dylan. Dylan?
I woke up Monday morning and decided to check the Blue Mountains Gazette's website, as I hadn't updated myself on any local news in a few days. I read a story titled Glenbrook Pool Reopens, along with playgrounds and sporting fields. The article announced that all playgrounds, outdoor exercise equipment, skate parks and sporting fields would open again for community use. It took me a moment to realise what I'd just read. I jumped out of bed, put on my shoes, packed my bag, grabbed my board, walked outside, and it was wet. Turned out it had rained throughout the night. Although I was disappointed, I was mature about it. So the original idea for this video was to talk about the skate parks reopening over some footage of myself skating them. But as they're all wet, I thought I'd talk about why I started skating and why I think you should too. To accompany this is some footage of me skating from over the years, featuring some questionable fashion sense. The main reason I think everyone should skate is because it's a great temporary escape from daily life. While you're skateboarding, nothing else seems to matter. You can focus on one thing, landing that trick. And yes, it can get frustrating, but that's the best part. You can spend hours, days, even weeks trying to land a trick, but when you do it, it's one of the best feelings in the world. Skateboarding can also be done on your own time and terms. Don't feel like skating on a particular day? That's fine, no one's going to force you to do it. So if you're looking for something new, exciting, can be done on your own terms, can be done solo or with friends, gets you out of the house and is good exercise, pick up a skateboard and give it a go. You won't regret it.
Thanks, Joe, for that story. We move our program from outdoors to indoors. While some of us can't wait to get out, others have been eagerly anticipating a day in with their friends. With restrictions being eased, small friendship groups can now reunite. Emily Minnie spoke to such a group where they see how they have been making up for lost time. Now, we're over to Xanthi, who hopefully has figured out how to use a computer. Xanthi, come on, Xanthi. I know you're cooking up a storm, but surely this is more important.
New South Wales saw a lift on self-isolation restrictions on Friday, May 15. Gatherings of up to 5 people indoors are now permitted. Lifelong friends Natalie Collab and Bianca Bowman spare one day a month to complete creative and productive tasks.
Probably the best thing we've done is the hobby club, because we were doing that before social distancing was a thing.
This was their first meeting since the self-isolation period began in March. Their focus for May was baking.
What the fuck is this?
We know no matter how busy we are with all our lives going on,
we
know at least once a month, that day, we will do our hobby club together.
Yeah.
While in self-isolation, social media erupted with videos of amateurs cutting their own hair, TikTok use increased, and suddenly everyone was baking.
Did you fall victim to any self-isolation trends?
Well, personally attacked, I cut my hair and got addicted to TikTok.
People turned to video conferencing site Zoom to maintain their relationships.
It's not quite the same without the cheese platter and everything, but it still feels very connected.
Friends might not be able to physically touch or hug each other or stand too close for quite some time, but just being able to be in each other's company is a welcome reprieve.
It's fantastic seeing friends again, but the social distancing is a bit, I miss you.
I wish I could hug them, but it's pretty good otherwise.
Emily Minnie for CSU News.
Another trend during lockdown has been the upsurge in home DIY projects, which is the subject of our next story. Tyler Johnson spoke to employees at his local hardware to see what products are in demand. Has this been a trend that you've been noticing, Matthew? Perhaps you've been partaking in yourself?
Not partaking, Ed, but my dad certainly has been doing a bit of, repairs around the house, bit of plumbing, bit of, pruning, all these sort of this deal. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that's lockdown has provided the opportunity for everyone to, do those projects that they always say they're going to do, and they never actually do it.
All right. Oh, so next we're going to cut over to Darcy for this one. I'm almost hesitant to do it, but all right, here we go, Darcy. Darcy, I guess journalism can be stressful, so we all need to relax somehow.
Now that more businesses are beginning to close their doors, even more workers are being forced to stay at home. With all this time on their hands and nowhere to go, many people are choosing to pass the time by working on those home improvement projects they've been putting off all these years. The Johnson Brothers Mitre 10 hardware store has reported their largest weekend ever this week, breaking records of both total sales and customers served, suggesting more people are keen to keep busy even while shops are closed.
Due to the shortage of all the shops closing, it's caused a lot of people to come in. As you can tell, everyone is going for the masks, toilet paper, etc.
On top of stocking up on essential products for safety and hygiene, the store has also seen an increase in paint and timber sales, suggesting that people are brightening up those old rooms as well as working on some larger projects like sheds and fences.
So this is what's going on. Everyone's painting their house in lockdown. Wash and wear paint and painting their ceiling at the same time with ceiling paint.
Thousands of families are getting into the home improvement spirit. Even my family got together to build this fence. It's a great way to make use of the spare time and make your home nicer for everyone, even the dog.
And our final story tonight is one that focuses a little more on those who are studying during this lockdown era. There can be a lot of distractions at home, attempting to draw you away from whatever online class or project you're trying to do. Ed, has this been something you've noticed?
Oh, definitely. My dog has absolutely been loving me being at home. Always with me, and I've seen many other dogs on Zoom as well.
Well, on that subject of dogs, actually, Sophie has returned and she's pulling double duty this week. She's spoken to a group of students studying with their dogs. So we're supposed to be going to Dylan for some comments. Dylan.
Well,
you know what? Forget it. He's not going to be there. They're never there. All these journalists have lost jobs over the last few months, and these three are still employed. Are you kidding me? Run the story.
I want to have a look at our new normal. With most people currently working and studying from home, there is so much more time to spend with our furry little friends, and they are often joining us on our day-to-day activities. The question is this beneficial or is it just distracting? Hi, I'm Sophie, and today I'm joined by Rebecca with Tilly, Kate with Maisie, and Imi with Stella. All three of these girls are university students studying from home at the moment. So Kate, have you seen any benefits to studying with animals around?
It's definitely a little bit of a distraction sometimes. Maisie joined in a couple of my Zoom tutorials, and she tends to be more of the centre of attention than any work that we're doing. But I mean, sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of a companion, and definitely in terms of sort of having a break, getting outside and having a run around, it's really good in doing that and then being able to come back and be a lot more focused as opposed to just sort of sitting around on a computer all day.
As Kate mentioned before, that dogs can be a bit distracting when you're trying to study. Do you find this?
Yeah, it depends on the day and the time, but if she hasn't been walked and stuff like that, she'll just be barking constantly, and of course that's a distraction. And she's very attention-seeking sometimes as well. She's not the most well-trained dog, but I'm sure if she was, it would be a lot nicer to just have her by my side just to release a bit of anxiety and stuff while I am studying.
I recently saw a Twitter post talking about how pets boost our sense of well-being and creativity. Kate, you do quite a creative course. Would you say that this is true?
I find myself, I guess, bouncing ideas off her, talking kind of to myself, but also to this face, and asking her what she thinks, not that she'll ever reply.
Beck, do you find that Tilly is a really good excuse to get out of the house?
Yeah, I definitely think that going
taking Tilly for a walk is like a good distraction from doing uni work, and it helps boost my well-being, and it's a good like family activity to do.
And that's all we have time for this week. He's been Edward Dodds.
Goodbye now.
I've been Matthew Kapos. Our panelists haven't contributed, so I won't tell you their names. Good night.